What is up guys, dinner time here and welcome to my solo top ranked Malphite guide. I'm going to quickly take you through runes and masteries so that those of you who don't want a full guide can get on with your games. For my quintessences I take flat health, but you can also take ability power or armor. For reds it has to be magic penetration, and for yellows I would almost always take armor. For blues it can be the mana regeneration per 5, ability power, or what I usually take, magic resist. For masteries, you're going to be picking up ability power, cooldown reduction, and magic penetration in red, magic resist, armor, health regeneration, and health in defense, and mana regeneration and the summoner decrease on flash in utility. I'm going to run you through Malphite's laning phase now. Malphite's a relatively easy champion to pick up. He doesn't have any skill shots, and all of his abilities are pretty straightforward. So he's a great champ if you're just looking for someone nice and easy to pick up and try out in the top lane. For summon spells you always want to be running Flash and Ignite. Ignite will seriously help supplement his very low sustained damage, and Flash is a must to get in range of your ulti and E. It'll also help you escape, like in this clip here. When starting the game as Malphite, you want to be picking up a Regrowth Pendant and a health potion. You're going to later build this into a Philosopher's Stone. The next item you want to be picking up is a Chalice of Harmony. Malphite has some very severe mana issues early game, and this is going to seriously help that and maximize the amount of poke you're able to do in lane. It also grants you a little bit of magic resist, which is always nice. Malphite's boots of choice should almost always be Ninja Tabi, except when versing champions like Aurelia and Jax, and any other top lane who may be versing you with a stun. Stuns seriously hurt Malphite's early game, so Mercury trades are a must against champions with those stuns. If you find you're getting ganked a lot by the enemy jungle and your lane is always pushed, it might be an idea to pick your boots up before your Chalice. However, the Chalice provides the much needed mana regeneration that Malphite needs to be able to poke and win lane dominance. Malphite's Q is Seismic Shard. It sends out a target nuke which slows the enemy and speeds you up. This is Malphite's main damage early game, and we'll be leveling this ability up first. Malphite's W is Brutal Strikes. This gives him a small cleave which increases as you level the ability up. It also gives you additional armor and attack damage on activation. Get a point on this at level 3 and level it last. Malphite's E is Ground Slam. This deals damage to everyone around you in a radius. It also slows down attack speed, and additionally it's good to note that this scales with 30% of your armor and 0.2 damage per ability power. We're going to be taking a point of this at level 2 and maxing it second. Malphite's ultimate is Unstoppable Force. This allows you to target an area on the ground with a large range and dash forward to that point, dealing large damage and knocking everybody up. This is what makes Malphite so potent. You want to be using this on the enemy carry in teamfights whenever you can. A quick thing to remember is that your W grants extra armor, and your E scales with armor. So activating your W and then activating E will cause it to deal additional damage. When playing up top, one of your main goals should be getting a high amount of minion farm. To do this efficiently on Malphite, hit the back row of minions a couple times until they're half health, and then work on the front minions until you see one of the back minions about to die, and then hit Ground Slam. You should clean up all the minions at the back and some of the front ones. Then kill the remaining ones and the counter minion with your Q and auto attacks. It's difficult to farm like in this video here early in the game due to his low mana regeneration and low damage on E, but after you get Chalice of Harmony and you get your E to around level 2 or 3, you should be able to farm very efficiently. In between farming on Malphite, you also want to be trying to deny the enemy farm. We're going to do this using our Q extremely aggressively. Early game, you want to be using it fairly conservatively, because you don't have much mana regeneration, but as the game wears on, you can continually poke your enemy with your Q until they're around the quarter health mark. Then you can ulti them, E, Q, and finish them off with Ignite. Don't forget to also activate W to give you that bonus armor and attack damage, which might just get you a kill. When playing top lane, don't forget to buy a ward. This can seriously save you. It'll warn you of junglers incoming on ganking. Placing your ward where you just saw in that clip is usually the best place to put it, but you should also consider putting one in the top tri-bush. Malphite is particularly good at working with his junglers. Because of his ultimate and slow, it is very easy for junglers to come in and deal heaps of damage and close the gap quickly. Make sure to use your ultimate while they're running in for the gank, so that they can have as much time damaging the enemy as possible. As the game transitions into mid-game point, we usually want to be picking up a Frozen Heart. This will add extra damage to your E, and will also cripple the enemy carry quite severely. Every team in range should always have a Frozen Heart, and it just so happens that Malphite works great rushing one first off the bat. For our second mid-game item, we have two choices. If mid is going particularly well for the enemy team, then we want to be picking up a Force of Nature to counter that heavy magic damage. If mid is not particularly fed or farmed, we want to be going for a Sunfire Cape for that juicy health and armor. It also gives a beautiful passive which applies 40 damage per second to everyone around you. Malphite is normally the last one to be targeted, so we get maximum use out of this item. Malphite's sixth item is very situational. If there's a lot of CC, we want to turn our Philosopher's Stone into an Elysius Miracle. If we're having a lot of trouble with mages, we want to pick up a Abyssal Scepter for that magic resist, and we also give the aura to our mages to make them more powerful. It also grants us a little bit of ability power, helping our E and Q scale. Another good choice is Guardian Angel. This is a very all-round item which will give you some serious durability in teamfights, allowing you to recklessly charge in with your ultimate with no fear of dying. If the enemy team is stacking lots of magic resist, you should probably be looking at a Void Staff. This will help out your damage and increase your overall team's AoE damage. This is always a good thing and will help you win those team fights. If you're still having trouble with the enemy carry and brawler because they were fed off their face, even after your Frozen Heart and E attack speed slow, then you're going to be looking at picking up a Thornmail. This will reflect the damage they deal back at them. It also increases the damage of your E, which is also nice. Finally, we're going to turn our Chalice of Harmony into Athene's Unholy Grail. This will give us some ability power, which will increase our overall damage, and will also give us more magic resist. And it also gives a bit more mana regen, but we don't really need that since we can already spam all of our abilities without any worry at all as soon as they come off cooldown. I'm now going to discuss some tactics in team fights and what you want to be looking at when you're approaching. Let's get into some team fight footage. In this clip we've just caught the enemy Darius out and the rest of the team is now coming in for a team fight. I'm watching very carefully, looking for the enemy carry and waiting for the rest of the team to bunch up. I'm going to go in right at the precise moment when they're all together, as you can see right now. There we go, there's the ultimate, ground slam, and I'm going to target the carry with Seismic Shard. I forgot to activate Brutal Strikes. I should have done that before I engaged with my ultimate, but I didn't want to miss my opportunity. Malphite's initiation ability with his ultimate lays the way for the rest of your team to come in. As you can see in this clip here, Alistair was able to immediately charge in without the worry of getting stunned or anything and complete his combo, using his Q and headbutting everyone around. Then the rest of the team comes in with Katarina's ultimate and all of my other DPS. This is what you want to be doing as Malphite. This is why he's even a champion. This is his calling. When you do this successfully in every team fight and the rest of your team follows suit, you will almost always win every team fight. Just make sure to always use your ultimate on the carry. You want to be taking them out as soon as possible and turn it into a 4v5 without their main damage dealer as soon as possible. Malphite's skill set is also very good for chasing. Using your Q will slow them down and allow your team to catch up. You can also use your ultimate on 2 or less people, however it is recommended that you save it, but with your Frozen Heart cooldown reduction, it's not too much of a worry if you want to gank someone or just catch out an enemy team mate. When selecting Malphite in ranked gameplay, there are a couple of champions who really give him a lot of trouble up top. I mentioned 2 of them earlier. One of them is Aurelia. Her true damage and stun and that mobility is just bad news for Malphite and makes him a very, very unhappy pet rock. Another one which is particularly annoying is Jax. His ultimate grants him magic resist and his poke is actually probably a little stronger than Malphite's, with his ability to jump strike onto you, use empower and stun you, get some auto attacks in and then quickly run away. These 2 champions are a no-no. you do not want to come up against them in ranked gameplay, so I suggest picking another champion if you spot one as a first pick. I hope that you guys have learned a few tips or tricks maybe, and improved your gameplay on Malphite a little. Or if you just wanted to see the new skin, that's fine too. Leave your interesting responses and builds, and if you just want to flame me, that's cool too. Just chuck it in the comments below. Make sure to give it a thumbs up, and subscribe to my channel for more awesome guides coming.